Welcome to the third annual Blue Economy Summit here in Brussels, Belgium. If the first year was about future proposals and the second was about planning, this is definitely the year for implementation. But the journey isn't all smooth. It's interesting to hear as we move from the Ocean Pact to the Ocean Act from different participants within the blue economy. We've heard from people all across Europe, starting with the EU Commissioner for Fisheries and the Oceans, Costas Kadis.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a decisive moment. The choices we make today will determine the health of our ocean, the strength and competitiveness of our economy, as well as the well-being of future generations.
A very warm welcome to everyone. It's indeed, I think, my third time at the third Sustainable Blue Economy Conference, which marks the full commitment of the colleagues in DG Environment that I have the pleasure to represent here today to this Sustainable Blue Economy agenda, which represents close to 2% of the EU's GDP.
What we heard today was this mix of, are we going to go down a certain path on policy? Are we going to go down a certain path on things like fuels? What are we doing about shipping? How do ports react? How do ports work with cities? And then everything in between in terms of the corporate engagement and innovation and finance. So I think you heard the ongoing tension. It's been an interesting year, to put it mildly. And because of that, I think we're reshaping and rethinking about the power of the European ports and shipping and maritime and the companies that are engaged with them.
So we are the Blue Economy Conference because as Airbnb, we are actually bridging the gap between competitiveness and sustainability. We allow our hosts to generate revenues through short-term rentals, and we allow also municipalities, communities from the rural regions or remote regions to reap the benefits of tourism in a sustainable way.
There is no technology which will give us net zero. So we have a regulations which forces us to use these alternative fuels, but on the long term, the market ramp up for e-fuels is missing.
We cannot be competitive, sustainable and resilient. It's not possible, that equation.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. In 2030, all the vessels, container ships, ferries, and has to be connected to the grid. Okay, first question. Does the European grid enough power supply for all the vessels to be connected in 2030?
I'm not so negative or a pessimist, I would say, as we just heard. I believe that these pieces of legislation, these proposals, puts the European Union on the leadership of global ambition to deal, for instance, the increasing emissions for the maritime transport sector, that is roughly 2% each year. I don't see it as impossible. I see it as a challenge. I see it as we didn't have such an amount of funding as we have right now to deal with this challenge. And I believe that the sector has to do an effort to increase the best practices possible. And if it's not possible, we will at least follow the path to reach some level of ambition.
The competitiveness of Europe is key for the development of the cruise business. To do that, we need mainly three pillars. Infrastructure, cities, airport, rail, also infrastructure in terms of decarbonization, shore power, alternative fuel that should be available in ports. Second is the need of harmonized and simplified rules among the different regulations, Fuel EU Maritime, ETS and IMO, but also within the European Union. And third one, the availability of energy and alternative fuel at sustainable cost.
We can see that now Europe is leading this sustainable approach of developing the blue economy. My hope is that other continents, other countries, other organizations around the world will come together and strengthen this fight.
Well, that's it for this year's Blue Economy Conference here in Brussels. If you haven't already, please click like on this video and subscribe, but more importantly, make sure you're subscribed for updates on Brussels Climate Week, which will be taking place 12th to the 16th of October.